All wholesalers need to get their real estate license ASAP. Now, some of you may have seen my previous video where we talked about some of the regulations and changes that are coming to wholesalers in real estate. And if you haven't seen it, then we'll be sure to leave the video tag there or in the description below so you can watch it right after this video. So there's a real threat here of the wholesaling industry changing, right? 180 degrees potentially. So with that being said, we need to start looking for alternatives, especially if you have a booming wholesaling business and this is your breadwinner. Now we need to start considering other ways to keep this business running, right, without losing it all. And the answer is getting your real estate license. Mic drop. So I'm gonna go ahead and list out several reasons why, and we're not gonna touch them all, but here's some of the big reasons. Reason number one, if wholesaling does become illegal, you can still sell real estate. That one's pretty simple. Enough said on that. Reason number two, it actually adds some credibility. So let's think about this. Oftentimes people wanna know what's your pedigree. Some of it's gonna be based on your experience for sure, and it also makes them feel comfortable to know that you went through some sort of formalized training as well. So by adding that credibility, regardless if this is gonna be one of your first wholesale deals or it's your 100th wholesale deal, all it is an additional badge on the shoulder, and it's one more buffer to combat objections when people say, why should I trust you? Now let's move on to reason number three, which is really exciting, is that realtors can legally wholesale. Oh, got your attention, didn't I? Now I know many people are sitting here saying, no, it's not possible, it's illegal. Believe me, I even asked my brokerage. Well, I'm sorry to say, your brokerage lied to you. And it's perfectly normal because honestly, let's think about it. Brokers in charge and everything else, they're taught how to function as real estate brokers and sales agents. That's what they know, right? So if they look at something and see it as an assignment and it doesn't seem right, or they can't actually defend it when they're going to defend you and, make sure that their brokerage doesn't have to pay the insurance claim, then of course they're going to say, no, you can't do it. Why? Because I don't feel comfortable defending it. I don't feel comfortable doing my job as a broker in charge by allowing you to do that. Now, to be clear, I definitely want you to check within your state because your state may have a regulation about assigning contracts with real estate, but more than likely the loopholes is they're going to say that you need to be licensed. But anyway, let's talk about how it can actually work. So first off, when we're talking about the assignment of a contract, typically within the contract itself, I know within our states and several other states that surround us, it says that this contract is assignable as long as all parties agree to it. So what that means is, hey, look, seller, buyer's here. The buyer, for whatever reason, they can't close on the contract, but the realtor can find another buyer in the meantime, and that buyer is willing to abide by every term that was agreed to in the original contract, just like a wholesale. So this new buyer is presented to the previous buyer and the seller, and as long as everybody is in agreement, they can sign over the rights to that contract, and the new buyer then closes on the property, just like a wholesale contract. So if you check your state's standard realtor forms, you will typically see that clause somewhere in the contract. Absolutely have a completely separate business that owns real estate or invests in real estate. So in fact, it's encouraged. Every brokerage is going to give you some sort of discount or maybe a freebie when you're buying a property for yourself. In exchange, what the broker wants is every single real estate transaction that you do is to go through the brokerage. So let's walk through an example. Let's say that I have a holding investment company. Let's call it Wholesaling 101. And then myself, Mike, I'm representing me as the broker. So now the seller and my company, Wholesaling 101, they go under contract. Now, although I don't need any realtor representation because I'm a licensed realtor, I'm going to go ahead and represent my own company in the transaction. Now that means I'm going to fill out all the paperwork. I'm going to make sure that I report it and upload it to the brokerage firm. No harm, no foul. And I can either choose to pay myself a commission or completely go away with my commission and just pay the brokerage firm for whatever small transaction fee there is. Now, at the end of the day, all of a sudden I can't close on the property, so I go out and I find another buyer. Now, I've already told my seller that I'm a real estate agent licensed and secured by the state, so therefore their credibility in me feels a lot better. And I tell the new buyer that, hey, you can absolutely buy this, but in order to do that, you, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, have to pay me a commission. So now we go out and we fill out our exclusive buyer agency representation agreement with our buyer saying, hey, yes, you're going to pay me a commission for either the assignment or for me to represent you on this deal. Why? Because you own the contract. And if a wholesale buyer is always going to be paying whatever that total amount is, and from that total amount, you would be getting your assignment fee, what's the difference if you just call it a commission and do it legally. Now that right there was worth $1 million for all my realtors out there who haven't been wholesaling, or for all my wholesalers who've been told it's illegal. We have been doing it for years. Hundreds of our agents have been knocking out wholesale deals around the States. I was going to say around the world, but to be quite honest, we're in 28 different markets here in the States, but we're still doing it, right? So if you found value in that, and I know most of you did, and you want to continue to support mine, and thank you all for that like. But now we're going to go into reason number 4, which is understanding that you saw how easy, or how simple, let me put it that way, how simple wholesaling as a realtor can be. And there's a few more steps that we can absolutely talk about if you're interested. But what that demonstrates is how many more exit strategies you have as a realtor. So boom, let's say you go in there investor minded at first, right? Immediately you know that you want to wholesale this property. Or maybe you're savvy. Maybe you got a few more tools on the tool belt and you're saying, hey, look, I want to walk out of here making some money. So I want to subject to it first, or maybe seller finance it because I would like to own it. Well, okay, cool. They want cash quick. Well, okay, maybe I just wholesale it. Or if they're willing to hold on to it, maybe I can do a fix and flip where they hold on to the property. I just get put on the deed, hold it for 3 months because I own it now too, do the renovations, sell it, and now I can split the profits based on our ownership in the deed. And guys, I got many more strategies. If y'all want to know more, let me know in the comments below. I got you. Now let's say all of those things have actually failed and you can't get any of those deals that you wanted originally. Well, at least as a real estate agent, now you can list their property on the open market. And if you can't walk away with the $10,000 assignment fee, you still can walk away with something. Now, for everybody out there doing wholesales, wouldn't you like to make money on more of your transactions instead of just having to throw them away? The answer should be an absolute yes. I would think so anyway. So now if you can't wholesale it, you can list it on the open market. Or let's say you're not even in the market that you're trying to virtually wholesale in. Well, you know what you can do as a realtor? You can legally call another realtor and ask for a referral fee. And this is where that other realtor does all the negotiations with the seller, does all the marketing, does all the listing, does all the negotiations with the buyer, simply collects the commission, and then whatever they get for that commission check, they send you a chunk of it. Now, how more passive can income be? And if you really want to make it sexy, that entire referral piece can be a whole nother passive income stream in your business. So if you are a wholesaler, I really do think you need to go out and consider getting a license. Now, if you're interested in more about this type of topic or content, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And YouTube thinks that you should probably watch this video right here. See you in the next video.